of any sort to us.
When was the last time the commission met?
Last week Thursday. We met in Hatfield Street, and the meeting was aborted for two reasons. One, the Canadian High Commissioner barged into the meeting unannounced, and presumably she came in there to impose on the meeting. And secondly, the furor that was taking place downstairs forced the meeting to be aborted. So that there were two issues that led to the meeting being aborted. One, as I said, had to do with the Canadian High Commissioner, Ms. Chatterjee, imposing herself in the meeting, unannounced, barging into the room, as if it is that she's the new ruler of the land. And secondly, as I said, the furor that was taking place forced us to...
What exactly was her request to the Canadian High Commissioner?
I think she was intervening in the announcement being made by the
returning
officer. And she was running into the room to tell us what we should do in relation to what was happening outside.
When are you now likely to meet as a commissioner?
As soon as possible. We're waiting the word from the chairman.
Your other commissioner, the commissioners on the other side had refused to
what I was talking about. This is what I think is one of the most unfortunate and damning problems with this whole Guyana 2020 elections. We have international interference. We have the High Commissioner of the Canadian government. We have the Canadian High Commissioner intruding, interfering in our electoral process here, where you have these men who are on the GECOM commission saying that the Canadian High Commissioner, she barged into a meeting and was essentially instructing them as to what they must do and how they must do it. What kind of nonsense is this? This is what the world needs to know and hear. This is what's going on behind the scenes. These people have taken a side. They have an agenda. It is unlawful. It is unconstitutional. It is reprehensible that the Canadian High Commissioner would be interfering in a meeting. She was not invited to the meeting. She has no role in that. She's not on the GECOM staff. She's not the head of our Guyana Elections Commission. No person can go to Canada and interfere in their electoral process who comes from another country and tell the Canadian government how they must run their elections. Who are these people to think they can come to Guyana and tell our Guyana Elections Commission how they must run their institution? It is an autonomous body. It is an independent body, and they should not be receiving any type of interference or interruptions from any foreign leaders, from any observers, from any ambassadors or representatives. This is the skullduggery that's going on. This is a conspiracy and a collusion between these international figures and the PPP Civic Party and their leaders. And it's clear. It is clear as day. And this is why they haven't condemned the violence coming from the PPP party and their supporters. This is why they haven't condemned the rhetoric. This is why they haven't condemned the terrible behavior and the misconduct of the PPP officials in the GECOM building. They practically were in that building creating a scene, verbally assaulting the GECOM staff and the regional officers. And here we see now the Canadian High Commission, that woman going into the Guyana Elections Commission meeting uninvited to interrupt it and to tell them what they must do. This is interference in our elections, and it needs to be called out. The world needs to know the Guyanese people are not going to take this anymore. It has to stop. Our votes must count.